Right now at 6, authorities arrested travel agent in Miami, Oklahoma after a fraud investigation.
And we've got a pretty decent start to the day. However, thunderstorm chances returning as we head into the afternoon. Latest on that forecast get you out the door coming up.
Plus, we'll learn how you can protect your skin this summer at the pool.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6 a.m. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is Thursday here in the 4 states, almost Friday. Many of you a short week.
Yeah.
So we are beyond the halfway mark, easily so, and it is going to be a fantastic start to our Thursday.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's going to be about it. Unfortunately, now Mother Nature, she cooperated. She gave us a nice Memorial Day. In exchange, she said your first weekend in June is going to be, well, you know, less than pleasant. Yeah. Saturday didn't look too bad. We'll get to all that in just a moment, but let's get you out the door first with this. This is a live view from our camera on top of the Cornell Complex in downtown Joplin. We got some clouds out to the east. That's, of course, the direction we're pointed. The sunrise, though, because of that, looks very pretty. I always love when these things look like Bob Ross paintings. I love landscape paintings. I love Bob Ross's landscapes, and sometimes, boy, he really can capture beauty, and that is exactly what Mother Nature is providing for us this morning. MoDOT camera 32nd and range line looking fairly good as well. Skywatch Storm Tracker, again, clear in our immediate area, but we've got these showers and thunderstorms out to our west. And again, there's a little uncertainty is exactly what's going to happen with this leading line. Now, I know it looks relatively intense. It's not severe, but just a lot of lightning. It may fizzle out, and then we'll be transitioning to secondary development behind this, which is why we're expecting these storms to be here a little later this afternoon. Even though they look like they could be here in the next couple of hours, I think they're going to be here a little later than that. This is what the future track's expecting right now. By noon, just starting to enter our western counties. Here we are at 2 o'clock, continuing in. So just through Yates Center, Chanute, Fredonia, Parsons, Coffeyville, you are up next by 2. By 3, Coffeyville, Parsons, Fort Scott, you are in it. Pittsburgh, it is on its way. Then by 6, Miami, Grove, Veneta, Pittsburgh, Fort Scott, rolling into Nevada. You're next on the list. And as we had a little later, these thunderstorms again continue to push off to the east and will cross over the Missouri state line right along the I-49 corridor. And then they kind of loop back through northeastern Oklahoma. So northeast Oklahoma, once the rain and storms begin, it's not going to let up for most of the rest of the evening out there. Severe weather is not expected, but a strong storm or two will be possible with maybe some small hail and gusty winds, especially in our western counties. Temperatures this morning, mild out there as we are beginning the day into the 60s. We've got low mid 60s and mid upper 60s across the region. As we head through the day, again, we'll start to see those showers and thunderstorms increasing after noon. We'll have highs into the low 80s out there, and those storms, of course, increasing in coverage to the late evening and overnight hours. These thunderstorms expected to potentially last as late as early Saturday morning. We're going to break down the details on that, how our weekend is shaping up, and next week's storm chances here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, we'll see you soon, Chris. The Kansas Bureau of Investigation has issued a silver alert for a Frontenac woman. Jean Marie Joyce was last seen in Frontenac, Kansas around 5:30 yesterday evening. It's believed she walked away from the nursing home where she was staying. Joyce is a white female, 5'4", and weighs about 120 pounds. She's blue eyes with brown and gray hair, and she was last seen wearing a pink jacket and jeans. Joyce does suffer from dementia, and if you have any information regarding her whereabouts, you are asked to call the Frontenac Police at 620-231-9216. Emergency personnel respond to a fatal crash involving a trash truck yesterday afternoon in southeast Kansas. The crash occurred around 4:30 on private property between Galena and Riverton. According to the Cherokee County Sheriff's Office, 63-year-old Tyrone Palmer of Riverton was loading trash into a trash truck when the truck went into gear and ran him over. Palmer was pronounced dead at the scene. Next of kin have been notified. Authorities respond to a head-on crash in Joplin yesterday evening. It happened around 5:30 at Zora and Miller. A driver heading west experienced a medical emergency and swerved into oncoming traffic. The vehicle struck an SUV and then another vehicle head-on. 6 people, including 3 children, were rushed to area hospitals. All 3 children were transferred to Springfield for a higher level of care. Authorities arrest a travel agent in Miami, Oklahoma after a fraud investigation. Diane Whifford has been recently scrutinized for alleged fraudulent activity. She's now behind bars, but for bad checks written in Taney County, Missouri in 2016. Whifford, who also goes by the last name Cott, was booked into the Ottawa County Jail yesterday after a traffic stop. She's being held with no bond. Whifford allegedly wrote more than $10,000 in checks that the prosecutor filed charges on nearly 8 years ago. Now, in a Miami police investigation, authorities believe Whifford's company, Whifford Tour and Travel, has taken payment from clients totaling tens of thousands of dollars. Authorities say the bookings aren't there when people show up because they never existed in the first place. Alexa Gilman of Webb City says she's out about $5,200 on a trip she was planning to take this summer.
It was on Facebook, a little ad that came through on my feed, and it caught my attention because the tickets to Disney were so cheap, and I've been like multiple times, so I knew this price was actually too good to be true.
On a gut feeling last week, she called to check on her Disney tickets and booked Airbnb, and she had already paid for through the travel agency. The Disney tickets didn't exist and the Airbnb was reserved under a woman's name, Diane Whifford. Gilman couldn't get information since the booking was not in her name. We have more information on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. And to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. Pittsburgh's Aquatic Center is just one of the many four-state community pools that have opened their doors for the season. KOAM's Amber Jenkins spoke to staff about protecting your skin poolside.
Attendance during Memorial Day weekend broke records for Pittsburgh Aquatic Center. The pool manager says with high attendance numbers, pool staff are hyper-vigilant for water safety as well as skin protection.
We see lots of people come through and you can tell that they have not put on any sunscreen in the past, and so we kindly put out the sunscreen and recommend that they put it on today.
The Aquatic Center will provide sunscreen to attendees in need. According to the manager, staying hydrated is half the battle.
Another thing about protecting your skin that a lot of people don't think about is drinking water the whole time that you're out here as well, because then it dehydrates you and it makes your skin even more prone to getting sunburnt as well.
The youth of Pittsburgh are cooling off with some water fun while being mindful of their skin health.
Burns your skin and it can make you have sunburns, so make sure you guys always bring sunscreen.
Sunscreen is good because you don't get burnt on your skin. That's why you need sunscreen.
Because you get blisters and you turn really red and no.
Yeah. Because if you don't wear it, you can get sun cancer. It's very important so that your skin, it's a real thing.
Reporting in Pittsburgh, Amber Jenkins, KOAM News.
The Pittsburgh Aquatic Center is open daily from 1 to 7 p.m. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News. A scammer is claiming responsibility for the foreclosure threat against Elvis Presley's iconic Graceland. Plus, jury deliberations resume this morning in former President Donald Trump's so-called hush money trial. And Chris Warner returns with another look at your Thursday forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Topping Nation Watch this morning. A self-proclaimed scammer is claiming responsibility for the foreclosure threat against Elvis Presley's iconic Graceland. A person purporting to be involved in the scheme responded to an email from CNN saying, "I didn't win this one." The email was written in a mixture of English and Luganda, a language spoken primarily in Uganda. Earlier this month, Graceland was set to go up for auction under the pretext that the late singer's daughter, Lisa Marie Presley, who died in 2023, failed to pay back a nearly $4 million loan. Jury deliberations resumed this morning in former President Donald Trump's so-called hush money trial in Manhattan. Yesterday, the 12 jurors headed to the judge's instructions before deliberating for 4.5 hours. Before the end of the day, the jury asked to rehear testimony from 2 key witnesses. CBS News' Jared Hill has more from New York.
The fate of former President Donald Trump now in the hands of 12 Manhattan jurors.
Mother Teresa could not beat those charges, but we'll see.
Today, at its request, the jury is expected to have parts of key testimony read back to them from former National Enquirer editor David Pecker and Trump's ex-fixer, Michael Cohen. This includes passages related to a 2015 meeting the two had with Trump to discuss an alleged scheme to kill negative stories ahead of the 2016 election. Judge Juan Merchan is also expected to reread some of his instructions to the jury today.
I think they are going to be quite careful and spend some real time going through the evidence and the instructions.
The 7 men and 5 women who make up the jury are deliberating just feet away from the courtroom. No cell phones are allowed, but they do have access to a laptop with all of the evidence. During his instructions yesterday, Judge Merchan told the jury to set aside any opinions and bias in reaching their verdict, which must be unanimous. Trump faces 34 counts of falsifying business records, which prosecutors say was done to hide reimbursements to Cohen after he paid adult film star Stormy Daniels $130,000 to keep quiet before the 2016 election about an alleged sexual encounter.
They have to come up with a verdict on each of these charges, so it could take a while.
Trump denies the encounter and any wrongdoing. If convicted, he could face fines and a sentence of up to 4 years in prison. Jared Hill, CBS News, New York.
While the jury does have access on the laptop to the evidence in the case, such as documents, they don't have the jury instructions or testimony transcripts in the deliberation room. That's why they must be reread to them today. Former President Trump is required to be at the courthouse building during deliberations. And that's a look at some of today's top national stories. Here's Chris with a look at your forecast.
And we've got ourselves a pretty decent start to the day, but we are watching thunderstorm chances as we head into the afternoon. So this is a look at the Skywatch Storm Tracker. We've got the clouds already building in out there, and off to our east is a complex of showers and storms that will eventually make its way into our area as we head into the afternoon hours. We'll have another look at your forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns.
Well, it all started with one of the most surprising 911 calls ever made. An escaped kangaroo had residents in one small Texas city hopping with excitement. Jeannie Moose has the tale.
What's a motorist in Lufkin, Texas to do when he sees this? Well, naturally, call 911.
Ma'am, I don't know who I need to call.
But he had to tell someone.
And there's a kangaroo that come up the road and crossed right here.
Does it look like it might belong there?
No, it come up the road.
It belongs to the Lowrys, who own 16 pet kangaroos. This one's named Red.
He's the big dude of the group. You don't want to get too close to him.
Shelby Lowry's husband accidentally left the gate to the pen unlatched. 2 kangaroos slipped out. One stayed by the pen, but Red took off.
My wife's like, why is that dog standing in the middle of the road? That's a freaking kangaroo, and it starts hopping coming down the road.
Kangaroos can be scary. This martial arts instructor once slapped one that seemed about to drown his dog.
I'm gonna punch your head in. Look at my dog.
It released the pooch, and this kangaroo had a dog in a headlock when his owner put up his dukes. Let it go, dog. Leaving the kangaroo stunned. But Red didn't fight. After 5 or 6 hours, he found his way back home.
He turned himself in for sure. We have a mugshot to prove it.
All together now, tie the kangaroo down, sport, tie the kangaroo down.
Red didn't get tied down after escaping. He got rewarded for coming home with bread. Jeannie Moose, CNN.
That's a freaking kangaroo.
New York.
Certainly not something you see every day on the side of the road. Well, here's Chris with a quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, clouds beginning to gradually increase across the area ahead of increasing thunderstorm chances. Thankfully, no kangaroos in our forecast. We'll have more on the rain chances when the KOAM Morning News returns. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News 621 on this Thursday morning. And again, a look at the Skywatch Storm Tracker. As you can see, nothing in our immediate area, but out to the west, that's starting to fill in a little bit on the left side of your screen as we see this shower and thunderstorm complex continue to roll off to the east. So as we mentioned, there's some minor discrepancies in the model guidance here as to what's going to happen with this leading edge. It could fall apart a bit, and we'll be dealing with the redevelopment back behind it. But as you can see, just to the east of Woodward, it's beginning to kind of fill in a little further to the south. So this line may survive. If it does, we're not talking severe weather. I want to emphasize that point right now. We're not looking at anything significant severe weather-wise. But if it fills in and this line holds, it could bring the storms into our western counties a little earlier than what the future track is currently showing. We do have that chance, though, of a strong storm or two with some small hail and perhaps some gusty winds, mainly in our western counties. But as you can see, we don't have any areas highlighted for tornado, and this is that low end risk zone. So that's some good news. While we don't need any strong or severe storms, period, at least we're not looking at significant severe weather. As of right now, future track standing is this. By about noon, we start to see the leading edge of that complex rolling into our far western counties. And as we go through the afternoon and into the evening, by 5, it's now right up against the Kansas-Missouri border and then stretching into Oklahoma. So I want to emphasize this too with Oklahoma. Once this rain begins, compared to all of your neighbors, you're going to deal with it the longest because this line is expected to kind of take this shape. And so you're going to be dealing with showers and thunderstorms for most of the evening, while some of your neighbors, for example, up to the north, Parsons, Chanute, Fredonia, Coffeyville, may get a bit of a break before the next round of storms rolls in. You folks in Oklahoma are going to be dealing with this a little longer. So again, flash flooding concerns become an issue. Thunderstorms by 7 now crossing into Missouri. And by 10, continuing right along the I-44 corridor, and then we're seeing a little bit of shower redevelopment in southeast Kansas, and then showers and storms really will start to pick up overnight and into tomorrow morning. So about 5 a.m., we have more widespread showers and storms. You see how they started lifting back to the north and west, and you see the wind arrows. That's because we've been talking about a low pressure system. It's in Oklahoma, and it's going to gradually make its way north-northeast across the area as we go through Friday. So as it does, our showers and storms are going to be coming in from a somewhat unusual direction, coming in from the south and moving north. Here's that spin with that low pressure just outside of Craig and Newata counties. And again, tomorrow, no significant severe weather expected, but a strong storm, small hail, gusty winds will be possible. But tomorrow's rain chances are going to be with us almost all day. Here we are at 10 a.m., scattered showers and storms. We go to noon. There's that low pressure, very obvious on the future track here with that spin. Here we are at 3. What do we still have across most of the area? Scattered showers and thunderstorms. Even by 6, we're starting to dry out, but still some showers and thunderstorms out there. And some of these we could see, as you see, we get on the backside of this, very early Saturday morning, there may be a stray shower or storm. I think most of us will be dry. And our Saturday at least looks to be relatively decent before we see more storm chances. Quick look at temperatures. 65 in Joplin, southeast breeze at 8. We've got partly cloudy skies out there. Temperatures around the region, mild to start the day. We've got low, mid, and even upper 60s in some locations. So again, mild, a bit above where we should be for this time of year. We're expecting the partly cloudy skies through the morning hours and 77 by 11. Again, if that leading edge of storms either intensifies or picks up some speed, then we could see a few showers and storms before noon, but it still looks likely that it'll be noon and after for these chances. Highs today, low 80s, lows back into the 60s tonight. Because of all the rain and cloud cover tomorrow, the best we can do is probably going to be the low to mid 70s. Well, again, maybe a stray storm or two in the morning Saturday, otherwise mostly cloudy, 80. More storms Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And Monday still looks like a possibility for some strong to potentially low-grade severe storms at this point, so we'll keep an eye on that for you. After that, though, look at those temperatures, upper 80s, pushing close to 90. That's Check Your Forecast. We're going to send it over to Lise with Health Watch.
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, a study of 250 U.S. teenagers reveals the rates of adolescent mood disorders and smartphone use have risen in parallel. This causes some to believe smartphone use could have an adverse effect on teens' moods. Researchers said it's also possible young people turn their smartphones to change their negative moods. Epilepsy drugs taken while pregnant do not appear to affect children's creativity. A study published in Neurology tested more than 300 4-year-and-a-half-year-olds, and researchers found no differences in the creativity scores between those born to mothers taking epilepsy medication and children whose mothers did not have epilepsy. And reports from patients and their partners about memory issues could predict biological changes in the brain associated with Alzheimer's disease. Among 675 participants, researchers found those who self-reported a decline in their cognitive function had certain chemicals associated with Alzheimer's in their brains. The same went for people whose cognitive decline was noticed by their partners. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back. Right now at 6:30, Freeman Health in Joplin hosted its annual Health and Resource Fair.
We're starting to see a few more clouds out there this morning as thunderstorm chances return by this afternoon. We'll have a look at that forecast, get you out the door coming up.
Plus, an update on swifter than usual currents facing visitors to southwest Missouri rivers.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:29. I'm Elise Snowy.
And I'm Chris Warner. We've got a pretty decent Thursday so far. Hope everything's going all right.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's been a fast week. I know that there's been rain in between, the days and everything, but it's just gone by really fast.
It really has.
Yeah.
It's already Thursday, and I know for many folks, you have a short week. Now, for me, mine is a little backwards.
Right.
I'm off tomorrow, so it was a pretty quick week here as
absolutely.
well. So, and then next week, we settle back into the regular Monday through Friday kind of deal, and get back to whatever it is we do, and it's going to be hot next week too.
It's going to be really hot.
It's going to feel like June.
Degrees?
Yeah, almost
Yes.
90
Oh, my
degrees
goodness.
most days next week. So
Wow.
June is going to settle in very
Absolutely.
quickly. But between now and then, we have some rain chances, and we're going to start first with this. A look at the MoDOT camera, 32nd in range line in Joplin. Sun is shining. We've got partly cloudy skies, but those clouds will begin to increase, and that's why. We've got this thunderstorm complex out to our west that is continuing to roll off to the east. In fact, I think we can adjust this, and I'll make this a permanent adjustment a little further to the east. So we're going to continue to monitor these storms. Nothing severe out there, nor are we expecting any severe weather, but some stronger storms, small hail, gusty winds could be possible. But take a look, though, a lot of lightning with this activity out there, and we are seeing new development that's flaring up. Okay, we now have a new severe thunderstorm warning with that particular part of the storm. So there is that chance of a stray severe storm, but the overall severe threat looks to be low, especially as they roll into our area by this afternoon. So we'll keep an eye on these for you through the morning and as we head into the afternoon. Still looking at about a noon arrival in our far western counties, and this complex by 2 will continue to sweep across southeastern Kansas. Now, Oklahoma, our friends here, when you guys get started on this rain, you're probably going to be dealing with it longer than your neighbors, because this line is expected to kind of form this shape back off to the west. And so flash flooding is going to become a concern, especially in the northeastern Oklahoma, because these storms will just continue. So by 6, here we are, Fort Scott, Pittsburgh, rolling into the Missouri side of things. And these again will continue through the evening. We'll see redevelopment overnight tonight. We're in the 60s this morning. Highs today going into the low 80s, with those thunderstorm chances gradually increasing throughout the afternoon and into the evening. We'll break down the full details on these storm chances and storms we're expecting next week here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
Thanks, Chris. Mowing season is underway, and that means MoDOT mowers are hitting the highways. So be sure to be on the lookout when you're on the road. The mowers move slowly, about 2 to 5 miles per hour, but they usually have a follow truck with them to alert you of the mower ahead. MoDOT is asking drivers to slow down, be prepared to stop and wait, and to focus on the road.
Most of the time our mowers will be off on the shoulder mowing, but when they do come to a bridge or an overpass, they do have to come out into the roadway to go around that. When we are in that situation, we will have a protective vehicle like this one with a TMA or crash cushion on the back of that. Just be alert, make sure that you're looking out for our folks. They're very visible, a lot of lighting.
You can report any grass or weeds blocking visibility at intersections along state roads by calling MoDOT's 24/7 customer service line 888-ASK-MoDOT, or you can report it on MoDOT's website. Water levels at the Elk River have subsided since the past weekend following floating businesses to put people back on the river. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration says the water levels experienced recently were considered minor flooding. Levels are no longer considered to be in a flooding stage. However, they're still 2 feet higher than what they were before the Memorial Weekend storms, and businesses are emphasizing safety on the water.
Just come in, talk to us. We'll kind of give you the lay of the land. And definitely just tell them, once again, wear their life jackets and just kind of pay attention to your surroundings, and most of all, have a good time. You know, we want everyone to be safe, but we want them to also enjoy the beauty and the float. That's what it's all about.
Two Suns Floating provides all of their patrons with a life vest, and they encourage everyone who goes out while the levels are high to be extra cautious. Well, Freeman Health hosted its annual Health and Resource Fair yesterday. Area seniors could receive a springtime health checkup. The public event also gave residents an opportunity to meet with Freeman providers and receive preventative guidance.
They're going to offer some life-saving services with what they do. That sounds kind of crazy, but you know that when people come in and they get their blood work done, they have their blood pressure checked, then they're going to get that blood test back in the mail. And you know, if those results offer some alarming results, then they're going to go to their doctor and they're going to have that reviewed.
The Come and Go event also featured informative presentations, interactive booths, giveaways, drawings for door prizes, and a free breakfast. The Carthage Public Library teamed up with the Red Cross to celebrate a fine forgiveness event. The event marked the first blood drive hosted by the Carthage Public Library. Every patron who gave blood at the event had all of their overdue fines forgiven. If the patron was listed as the parent of a minor child, that child's overdue fines were forgiven as well.
And you're not prepared for that a lot of times when you go in for surgery and they come to you and say, you know, Julie, we need to give you blood. Will you give consent for that? Sure. I'd never donated blood before. But once you need that to survive, you really understand and you're willing to give to others.
Anyone unable to attend this fine forgiveness event or was unable to give blood can expect 2 more fine forgiveness events before the end of the year. The Cherokee County Sheriff's Office announces a new program in partnership with What 3 Words. The What 3 Words program provides users with a simple way to communicate their precise location in the event of an emergency. While authorities say What 3 Words is not a replacement for 911, it is an option to obtain emergency services.
One of the greatest features of the product, What 3 Words offers offline mapping. So being in a rural county, farm areas, mineland wildlife areas, a lot of times citizens don't have service, but they're still able to access the What 3 Words map and give us the 3 words in the square so we can find a precise location where they're at.
The free What 3 Word app is free and available for iOS and Android services. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Walgreens announced it's cutting prices on its items, including snacks and feminine products. And thunderstorms return. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. In Consumer Watch this morning, now that the graduation celebrations are winding down, it's time for college graduates to think about landing a job. A recent study by Strata Institute for the Future of Work and the Burning Glass Institute shows that within a year of graduation, more than half of college graduates are underemployed, meaning they're working a job that doesn't typically require a bachelor's degree. Experts say it may take time to find the right job. Jen Sullivan talks to a career coach about tips on entering the workforce.
It's the season of celebration as college graduates look to the next chapter, and that means entering the workforce. But landing the job you want can be a challenge.
In 22, that graduating class, there were supposedly 2 jobs for every individual.
And now it's completely the inverse. There are 2 individuals for every job.
Fran Barrick is a career coach for college students and started her own company, Spearmint Coaching. She says it could take 5 to 7 months for graduates to find a job in their field.
It's very depressing just sort of submitting 100 applications, and hearing statistically you're going to hear back from 1 or 2.
Her first tip is to build a profile of jobs you'd be interested in applying to. 2. Research the companies. 3. Find jobs by networking, like using your college's career services, contacting alumni, and talking to friends and family. 4. Play up your skills.
You don't want to be a jack of all trades. You want to be a master of a specific one.
Some entry-level jobs require work experience, and if you don't have any, that's okay. On your resume, you can list college sports, clubs, and organizations. And don't forget jobs you've held like waitressing and babysitting.
That all counts. And those soft skills that you learn, responsibility, integrity, commitment, totally transferable.
And while you're waiting until you land the job you want, you can either work part-time or volunteer. For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
Nissan has issued a do not drive warning to the owners of more than 80,000 older vehicles. The company says the recalled Takata airbag inflators could explode in a crash and propel dangerous metal fragments. The pieces could cause death or serious injury. Owners can get their inflators repaired for free at a Nissan dealership. The recall affects certain models of the Nissan Sentra, Pathfinder, and Infiniti QX4 made between 2002 and 2006. The nation's second largest pharmacy retailer, Walgreens, announced it's cutting prices on 1,300 items, including snacks and feminine products. It comes as Americans continue to grapple with inflation. Other major retailers, including Target, have also announced price cuts to thousands of products this year. And Subway's footlong cookie is back nationwide. The oversized chocolate chip cookie will be sold for $5 at some locations. The cookie was pulled from some markets weeks after its January debut due to demand, with more than 5 million sold, according to Subway. And that's it for Consumer Watch. Here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, that people really like it apparently, and 5 million of those things. $5 too for a foot-long cookie is not a bad deal whatsoever. You know what I miss is those 3D Doritos. That may be a little before your time. But there were they brought them back, but they weren't the same.
Were they in a tube?
No, they were just in a bag, and they were 3D. They were hollowed out Doritos, and they were 3D. They were puffy. They were delicious, and the ones they brought back were not the same thing. Not the same thing at all. All right, let's look at the Skywatch Storm Tracker. Nothing on it in our immediate area, and it's expected to stay that way for a little while. We do have this batch of showers and thunderstorms. We do have one severe thunderstorm warning out there for strong gusty winds, about 60 miles an hour, and quarter-size hail. We're not anticipating anything significant severe weather-wise, but as we're noting with this line, at least right now, there could be a flare-up or two of some stronger storms, but it's expected to kind of lose some of that intensity as it gets closer, but we could still see some small hail and gusty winds as it rolls in. So still expecting it right about the noon hour into our western counties, and it'll start to slide through the area by 2. Here we are at 4. And one thing we've been mentioning through the morning I want to just point out again is northeast Oklahoma. As this rain begins, this line is expected to kind of take a J shape, a long J shape. So you'll be dealing with showers and storms a lot longer than your neighbors through the evening hours, and that could lead to the potential for flash flooding, so be aware of that. Some of us will start to get a break by late evening, and then as we go overnight, we'll see more of these showers and storms begin to roll in with an approaching low pressure system. Temperatures this morning, mild. We've got 60s. We've got low, mid, and upper 60s across the region this morning. And as we head into the afternoon, highs today, low 80s. Thunderstorm chances increasing as we head through the afternoon, evening, and overnight hours. We'll break down details on these storm chances here in just a moment. We're also going to celebrate birthdays and anniversaries right after this break. But first, let's see what's happening on CBS Mornings.
I'm Michelle Miller. Coming up on CBS Mornings, Vlad traveled to West Virginia to see where our very own Weijia Jiang grew up. She's being honored as one of this year's most influential Asian Americans and talks about what she learned to make her the journalist that she is today. That is coming up on CBS Mornings.
Time for some Thursday birthdays in the 4 states, and we're beginning with Layla Strum celebrating birthday number 4. Says happy birthday from Mommy, Daddy, and Baba.
And a happy 11th birthday to Gentry Dalpit. She's turning 11, or he's turning 11. I'm sorry. It's not my Friday, but it's yours, and I feel like it's mine right now. It says happy birthday from Mom, Dad, and Dylan.
All right, I'll continue the list here. As we move on with Kenzie Gerber celebrating birthday number 27 in Columbus. Pictured there with husband Blake and daughter Blakely. Happy birthday.
And over in Girard, a happy birthday to Haley Hensley, who's turning 30 today.
And we've got Joni Jesse celebrating birthday number 70 with happy birthday wishes coming from your husband. Happy birthday.
And over in Columbus, a happy birthday to Craig Rennie, who also happens to be the dad of our very own Daniel Rennie over in Master Control.
And I'm going to tell you right now, Daniel's an incredible kid. We just
absolutely.
call him Rennie, but still
Yes.
an incredible kid, and I think I know why. Looks like his dad, too.
Yeah.
He certainly does. We've also got Jim and Anna Lee Stevens celebrating their 70th wedding anniversary over in Oswego. Talk about a milestone. Says, congratulations on a marriage of a lifetime. Here's to 70 years and counting.
Incredible. And continuing our birthday list with Bill McCumber. Happy birthday, Bill.
And last but certainly not least, Susan Payne in El Dorado Springs celebrating birthday number 67. Another fantastic list of birthdays and anniversaries. And if you'd like to celebrate with us, our good friend Elise has what you need to know.
Yes. Go ahead and submit your birthdays and anniversaries to birthdays@KOAMnewsnow.com. Be sure to include those birthday messages and photos if you so desire, and to of course meet the deadline that you see there at the bottom of your screen.
Absolutely. And of course, that's to ensure that it airs on the appropriate day. Let's take a look at Skywatch Storm Tracker. So again, in our immediate area, we have got nothing going on, and it's going to stay that way for a little while through the morning hours. However, let's drag this off to our west, and you can see we've got this complex of showers and storms out there. We do have one severe thunderstorm warning that's out in parts of north central Oklahoma, and that's for 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail. So for us, we're not anticipating really anything significant severe weather-wise, but some stronger storms with small hail and gusty winds are definitely a possibility. I'm doing a lightning count on this portion of the storm here. Look at all of that lightning, not including these strikes back behind it. Just right here, 119 lightning strikes within just a few minutes window. This storm alone that's severe down here had about 20 on its own just in that one small space. So these storms producing quite a bit of lightning. So if that continues as they get closer to us, you want to be careful out there. As you know, lightning is dangerous, lightning is deadly, and we don't have to have severe weather to have lightning, of course. It comes with thunderstorms. This whole complex, again, see how it's starting to congeal? That's kind of lining up with our thinking of this arriving by about noon in our far western counties, because as it's kind of merging together here, it is slowing down a little bit. And so if everything continues, we'll see these storms in our area by about noon in our far western counties. We do not have any areas highlighted for a tornado risk, but we do have our far western counties in a low-end hail and wind risk out there. So that's what we're talking about, small hail, gusty winds, a possibility with some of the stronger storms. At this point, though, not anticipating anything significant severe weather-wise. If that changes, we, of course, will let you know. But that's not the expectation for our region. So here we are at noon. Future tracks showing where those storms are. And we advance this about 5 hours, and you can see this group of thunderstorms continuing, not losing their strength, not losing their form here. And the other thing, I know I've said it 100 times, I just want to make sure folks in northeast Oklahoma are aware of the concern of potential flash flooding issues, because this line is expected to take kind of a J shape. And so as it rolls into Oklahoma, once it starts raining down here, your neighbors will have pauses in thunderstorms, in rain and showers. You will not, as we continue to see these storms continue to roll to the east by 7. Crossing into Missouri, a few stray showers trying to develop on the backside of this, but see in Oklahoma, still even by 10 o'clock, dealing with scattered showers and thunderstorms, now lined up right on the I-44 corridor. And then as that low pressure system approaches, it kind of fizzles out that activity and starts shifting things back to the northwest, as we're going to see more showers and thunderstorms continue throughout the majority of our Friday as this low pressure system slowly lifts off to the northeast. So if you've got plans Friday, it may not be until late Friday evening before some of you start to dry out. We're going to have another look at your forecast and, of course, the news you need to know. And when we make the transition to Fox 14 at 7 a.m., we're going to see one school district in Wisconsin that has their hands full with 18 sets of twins. Yeah, 18 sets of twins. That story only if you join us at Fox 14 at 7 a.m.
Well, here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Authorities have arrested Diane Whifford in Miami, Oklahoma for bad checks written in 2016. Now, Miami police believe Whifford's company, Whifford Tour and Travel, has taken payment from clients totaling tens of thousands of dollars. The Miami Police Department says anyone who believes they are victims should register their information in a complaint with the Oklahoma Attorney General and the Consumer Protection Unit. Authorities responded to a head-on crash in Joplin yesterday evening at Zora and Miller. A driver heading west experienced a medical emergency and swerved into oncoming traffic. 6 people, including 3 children, were rushed to area hospitals. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration says the water levels experienced recently on Elk River were considered minor flooding. While levels are no longer considered to be in a flooding stage, they're still 2 feet higher than they were before the Memorial Weekend storms. Some businesses will provide patrons with life vests and encourage everyone who goes out while the levels are high to be extra cautious. And that's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
And we've got this shower and thunderstorm complex off to our west that could bring us some strong storms. Small hail, gusty winds are the primary concern. And this will begin to roll into our area after about noon, getting into our far western counties. We're looking at highs today into the low 80s with those thunderstorms increasing this afternoon. Storms throughout the day on Friday. And because of that, we're a little cooler, low 70s. Maybe a lingering shower or storm early Saturday morning, otherwise mostly cloudy and dry. More storms Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We're still watching that possibility of strong to low-grade severe thunderstorms as we head into Monday. After that, though, look at those temperatures. It will certainly feel like June as we get close to 90 degrees most days next week.
Very warm. All right, coming up today at noon, we're making blue ribbon brownies in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
And your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings.
You can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues.
We've got that story about the school district with 18 sets of twins.
Could you imagine?
I couldn't look. We only had like a set of twins when I was in school, and that was complicated enough. But 18 of them.
Oh my goodness.
That is a challenge.
You could get away with a lot at that school.
You certainly. Oh my gosh, you certainly could. I wonder if they've got like a twin collective.
Yeah, maybe.
They probably do. Well, that's going to wrap it up for us for now. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
And we'll see you today at noon.